Hello! Today we have Rebecca Ellington here at Common House. She is our events director.
Hi.
Hi! How are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
Great! So we love working here at Common House. Can you tell us a little bit about Common House, the overall concept? What is Common House?
Yeah,
besides an event space?
Yes. So Common House is a social club. We are one of 3 houses. Our first one was in Charlottesville, Virginia. It opened in 2017. Richmond opened in our favorite year, 2020. And then we opened up in 2021. We're a social club. We have a full membership. They have access to the house whenever we're open. We've got a pool, everyone's favorite, a restaurant, bars. We do programming events. There's a fitness center, a whole co-working floor. So it's a whole other aspect. And then you have the venue part of it, which is where we do weddings and all of the events and things like that.
Yeah, and we love it here. Food is great.
Yes. So
great
good.
Atmosphere, design. It just feels great being here. So tell us a little bit about the building and the history behind it.
For sure. So the building was built in 1929. It was a YMCA. It served as a Y until 1984. And then it sat vacant for, over 30 years. We took over at the end of 2019, beginning of 2020. And then, like I said, we opened in 2021. I always tell people, back in the day, they didn't realize that they were building this building for us, but it was just truly fit perfectly. And the whole concept of Common House and what we need in every aspect of it. So they didn't know they were building it for us, but they did back in the 20s. And we just absolutely love this building.
And I love it because I feel like you guys did a great job of restoring the building. And there's still some really natural elements, like even in some of the bathrooms, that are true to the original architecture as well. So what would you say sets you apart, or Common House apart, from other venues, wedding venues, all event venues in general?
Yeah, so kind of going back to the building itself, it's such an iconic building here in Chattanooga. I hear so many stories of, someone's parents learned to swim here at the YMCA back in the day, or someone snuck in and took senior photos in here and then they're getting married here. And so I think the building itself and just the historical aspect of it and just how much this building means to this town is such as apart from so many other venues here in town, and I just love that aspect of it. So much of it is original, like we were just talking about, like when you walk into our lobby, all the beams are original, the flooring is original, the archways are original. Anything that we could keep, we kept. And then if we needed to, replace it, we just replicated it into what it used to look like. And so just the building itself is just, like I mentioned, is just so iconic in this town, and you just don't get these buildings. They just don't make buildings like this anymore. So it's just so cool.
Yeah, definitely. And that's funny because I think I've definitely had an officiant for a wedding here say, like, oh, I used to come swim here like when I was a kid or something along those lines.
Yes.
So Common House has a few different spaces that you can use for your event. What is your favorite space and why, I guess, when it comes to an event, and if you have a favorite space that might not be for events too?
So it's all going to be the same. Okay. Ruby Hall is where my heart is all day long. It's our larger indoor space for a couple of reasons, and I'll kind of go into one of them. So when you go into the space, into the room, it's just so beautiful and so stunning that it's such a good job restoring it. Almost the entire space is original. They had to replace a little bit of the flooring, but really most of it is original. And when you look up, they had to replace some of the wood paneling at the top. How they had to do that is they had to take all the roofing off of it and replace the wood. It was the most terrifying thing I've ever watched a group of men do. And so, but it was also just so impressive that they could do that and just keep restoring it, like we keep going back to how beautiful this building is. So the flooring was actually one of the last things that they had to do to finish before we opened for our first wedding. And I remember my boss had texted me and she said, Rebecca, they finished the flooring. Go look at it. It's so stunning. And I texted her back. I was like, oh my gosh, I might cry. And I really did cry walking in there just because it was done and it was just so beautiful. And kind of on the back end of that, of why I also love that room, is I've met so many wonderful couples here at Common House, and I've fallen in love with some of these couples, and I know that the most important day of their life happened in that room. And so just like walking in and knowing the feelings of what they felt during that reception or during, whatever that event might be, it was just so meaningful to so many people already in the 2.5 years that I've been here. And so I love that room for so many reasons, but those are probably the most important part of it.
And that brings up a good point too. You started working for Common House when this building that we're in right now was completely under construction. So we walked through it when it was a construction site. So it's been kind of really fun to see it come to life because it was hard to kind of picture what some of the inspiration was when it was a construction site. So no, that's awesome.
Yes.
So Common House is located in downtown Chattanooga, specifically the South Side neighborhood. What does Common House have to offer in terms of accommodations? What do you recommend for couples when they're having their wedding here?
So we're actually sitting in one of the hotel rooms right now. We have a suite. We also have 6 additional rooms on top of that suite. So I always recommend weddings to book these rooms out. I always recommend to book the whole floor out. I just think it's really fun. They can all get ready together if they've got family in town, or if they want to book them all out for the entire wedding party. Or if they just want the suite. The suite's gorgeous. We've got a bed on the other side of this wall. This is a little lounge area, and then another lounge area in the other room. It's just a perfect setup for getting ready. So we've got that. And then we've got hotels within walking distance. The Kinley is like right around the corner. The Choo Choo's also right around the corner. Moxie's not far away. Chattanooga, we're 2 miles from the river, so super close to the Edwin, Reed House, you know, all those different hotels as well. So we've got lots of options.
So with being a venue located downtown, how do you go about parking? What do you recommend? Do you offer any of those services?
Yeah, everyone's favorite topic.
Yeah.
So we include valet parking in our larger event spaces. Just with the larger guest count, we learned very early on how necessary that was. For our smaller events, you're always welcome to add valet parking on if you want to, but we do have that option to either add it on or it is included in your rental price. There are some parking lots that are close by that are walking distance, but we love the valet.
Yeah, valet's great. There's definitely other options as well, though.
Yes, absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about what Common House offers as an event space. What do hosts do on their own? What is provided through Common House? All that fun stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So we do all food and beverage in-house. We've got really anything you could think of as far as food goes. We can do plated, buffet, family style, heavy hors d'oeuvres. We've done oyster shucking station. We've done steak tartare action station. So really, whatever you want to do, we could do. We've got a chef on site, and he's absolutely fabulous. And then we do all your tables, all your chairs, glassware, plateware, silverware, napkin, linens. We'll print menus for you. So basically the whole table set with the tables, and then the food and beverage on top of that. So we kind of take care of you. We're pretty much a one-stop shop as far as that goes.
Yeah. But centerpieces would be something that's a little bit different that might come from a florist or through rental companies. And so pretty much all your other entertainment and decor vendors, I guess, would be the ones that would be the third party that you can kind of source on your own and have some flexibility. You're not required to book someone on the vendor list, correct?
The only one that we are pretty strict on is our day of coordinators and wedding planners, including Megan, because she's absolutely fabulous. But we do require a day of coordinator. I've got a list of approved coordinators that are all fabulous. There's a whole list of them, and wedding planners on top of coordinators. But besides that, you can do whatever. I'm pretty flexible as far as if you've got some crazy floral vision that you want to do, or bringing in additional rentals. I'm pretty flexible as far as that goes. We just kind of like talk through it and make sure that it's feasible, and then we just make it happen.
Nice. Awesome. You are around so many weddings and events all the time here. What do you think sets one event apart from another?
Really, that goes back to the people that are hosting it. So the couple, where they came from, how they met, what they love, what is so important in their relationship. I've heard so many different things from, a certain kind of cake or a certain kind of type of food or something like that, where it all began. That's what's going to take, part in the journey of their event and what makes everything so different. I think we've had so many different weddings here. None of them look the same by any means. Like, it is not a cookie cutter place at all. Like, everybody has their own vision. I mean, we've had hot pink in Ruby Hall before. We've had blue. We've had, every color in the rainbow we've had in that space. It's all based on like what the couple loves. And I always like to really reiterate that whenever they're here for a tasting or if they're here for a tour. Sometimes they'll bring like, oh, what did my guests like? I'm like, no, what do you like? What do you want to eat on your wedding day? What do you want to drink on your wedding day? What do you want it to look like? Because it's about them. At the end of the day, the flowers and everything's gorgeous, but they're married at the end of the day. So that's what is the most important part, and that's what makes these events all so different here.
So really bringing in their personalities into the wedding as much as they can.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
Love that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, Rebecca Ellington at Common House. Feel free to reach out to her if you're interested in touring the space or potentially hosting a wedding or event here.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Of course.